Shalom, Kol Haloim La, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Racha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who do rule and teach well. Peace and blessings to the brothers, the sincere Akim, pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth, keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord Yahweh Shai. Also, Shalom, peace and blessings, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, to all the sincere Akwath, the sisters out there listening and learning in silence as the scriptures command. It's the brother Azariah back with more world-ending news, prophecy, okay? And it's a whole lot going on, and it's been a lot going on for a long time. And see, these things are happening because we're at the end of this world. So all of what you see going on in the earth right now is a testament to prophecy being fulfilled. And the men of the Lord don't sound so bugged out. We don't sound so crazy now, do we? And that's one thing about it. Everything that we've been saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, these things are happening. All right? And at the end of the day, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to get the glory. But his men are going to be justified also. All right? Because we've had the faith, for all this time to proclaim these things before anybody even saw these things coming. All right? So here we are. Today, global markets crashing. All right? The Dow Jones dropped 1,000 points, man. Japan dumped over $1 trillion in U.S. assets. You have Iran about to strike Israel. They've been telling airliners not to pass through that area. All right, lest they be collateral damage. Okay, you have protests going on in the UK, in Europe, England, France, Germany, Bangladesh, Asian nations, all around the world. You're seeing calamities happen. And why is this? Because we're at the end of the road of this world. And the closer that we get to the end, the words of, the words that Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai spake through his prophets, man, these things are speaking loud and clear. As it says in Habakkuk 2 and 3, the vision is yet for an appointed time. This is the appointed time for these things to come forth. And Elder Apostle Tahar also labeled 2024 the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And it looks like we in that season. You know what I'm saying? Things is picking up, man. And we're not even at the election yet. And look how chaotic things are becoming. So for you Jakes out there, it's time to stop playing around. It's time to get yourself right, or you're going to get left. The message is to repent or die. Okay? Because this world is through. It's finished. We see it. So we're going to start off with this TikTok right here. Markets are crashing globally. And this is these things are deliberately being done by the elites. You see Japan dumping trillions of dollars worth of U.S. assets, and these other nations, the U.S. stock market taking this type of plunge. This is what they need to ultimately bring in this new world order. This is what they need to reset this whole system. All right? And the devil, pursuing the Revelation 12 and 12, is going to come with that great wrath because he knows that his time is short. So Esau, he's ramping up the pressure. But really, in the grand scheme of things, it's really Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai that's bringing this to judge the wicked of this world. All right, that's the real understanding. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and check this out. Of course, get into some other articles and precepts as well. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying.
If you own any stocks, today is not the day to look at your portfolio. Japan's stock market just logged the biggest crash since 1987. That's nearly 40 years ago. Their stocks are crashing and the index is down 12%. I don't think I've ever seen that for an index before. At least not since I've been following stocks. The S&P 500 is down 3.5%. The Dow Jones is almost down 3%. I haven't seen numbers like this since COVID, when the first crash happened. Nvidia is down 11%. About 30 minutes before that, it was down by about 14-15%. Tesla was down nearly 10% and it's recouped and it's down by about 7.5%. Amazon is down 5%. We're talking about trillions of dollars being wiped out in one day. And I think this is correction. And we're starting to enter what's called correction territory. And that's primarily because of US growth, the fear that it's slowing down globally as well. All I think is what's happening is that the stock market is actually catching up to everyday reality for folks. With the high interest rate environment, high spending, the wars, everything is finally starting to catch up, and you can't spend your way with government spending out of this situation. But one piece of advice that I have for you is do not panic sell. That's what's happening right now. Do not let your emotions take over. From my experience and from what I've seen in the last 15 to 20 years of investing in stocks, it always bounces back. At least the US economy does.
And see, even what he said there at the end, the US economy always bounces back. And this time it ain't gonna bounce back, bro. See, this is what the people of this world fail to realize. They don't see this is really the beauty of being in this truth. Because we understand the end game of all of this. We're not expecting America to bounce back because the Lord said it's not going to bounce back. Jeremiah 51 speaks about Babylon, suddenly falling, and that there's no balm or ointment that you can apply to heal this place. This place is finished. So no, America's not going to bounce back. This is the end of America. This is the end of the beast system. This is the end of the heathen, period. The Lord is manifesting the end through these events that are happening on the earth. So he has some type of hope that, we can just, don't panic buy, and, somehow one day it'll bounce back and it will be good, because it always bounces back. But see, you're not seeing the bigger picture. All right. You're not understanding that the Lord has smitten this place with an incurable wound. All right. A wound that can't be healed. So this dollar is pretty much done. And as we always go into it, this is to make way really for the MOTB, for this digital system that they want. The infrastructure is already set up. But in order to set up that new system, they got to crash the old one. This is all part of what that great reset entails. Okay? But all these people that have riches in this world, all these people that put their trust in the dollar and have, nice cars and nice homes, they about to lose all of that. Okay? This is why life in this world is really vanity. And this is why the scriptures tell us to come out of Babylon, man. Not to come out physically, but spiritually, man. Like, remove your mind from this place. The scriptures tell us to be as pilgrims here, because ultimately this is not our rest. We've been sent here to be punished. All right, we've been sent here to serve captivity, and the Lord is coming to get us soon. So you're not supposed to have your heart here to where you're going to be saying, oh, my house, oh, my car, oh, my job, oh, my dog, and this and that. Like, listen, this place is through. Ain't no coming back. Ain't no bouncing back. You see? From 2019, that was as good as it would ever get for America, man. All right? That was as good as it would ever get. 2020, and to this day, we've entered into a new world. All right? This is the new norm. Yeah, things are only getting worse. All right? But, like I was saying, people that have these riches and put their trust into these things, they about to lose it all. Okay? Like, you done went to school, got a doctorate, or you got a bachelor's degree, and you making 6 figures a year, whatever the case may be, even though a lot of them people are losing their jobs anyway. Okay? A lot of people that got into tech, the tech sector, depending on what industry that you're in, is taking a major hit. You see? People that have invested into things, look, man, it's all vanity. It's all passing away. The scriptures say the fashion of this world passeth away. This is why the scriptures tell us to store up our treasures in heaven, all right, where moth nor rust doth corrupt. Because this world, everything here is corruptible. You can't put your trust in anything here because it's all going to pass away. And very soon at that. Haggai 1:6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Yeah, so in this world, really, you barely getting by. Okay? In this world, you barely getting by. I mean, that's why it says you have sown much. So you've worked. All right? Jake, man, Jake be working 2 jobs, 12-hour shifts. So you busting your ass, but it says, and bring in little. But at the end of the day, by the time you pay your bills and pay for your, utilities and, other life expenses, you barely got nothing left. So the higher understanding to that is that, that's how the Lord wants us to be, because the Lord really don't want us to get comfortable here. The Lord wants us to treat this place as something temporary. But if we had great riches, we would be hesitant to leave these things behind. All right? That's why the Lord has brothers in the situations that we're in. We not out here, balling like Bill Gates, but we have enough to where, we can eat. We have a roof over our head. We can take care of our children, take care of our families. All right? But ultimately, we understand that we getting ready to leave all this behind, so it really don't matter. All right? The Lord gives us our daily bread. See? But yeah, man, people have, earned wages and put it into a bag with holes, because this economy about to crash. All right? Let's check this out. The dollar's days as a universal reserve currency are numbered. Okay? So that Benjamin Franklin, you about to be using them to wipe you behind real soon. Okay? Just like they doing in Venezuela with that Bolivar. Current debates around the international monetary system focus on de-dollarization. Despite modest shifts to other currencies and gold, the U.S. dollar remains dominant due to its incumbency, large share of trade and reserves, liquid capital markets, and the absence of obvious replacements. But that misses the central issue. A universal trading and reserve currency is needed because of underlying imbalances in trade and savings. And that replacement is going to replace the dollar, and all these nations are on board with it. These digital currencies. Okay, that WEF agenda. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this is why you're seeing so many protests happen around the earth, because the people are protesting against these WEF policies that are being put in place by their leaders, because they've been bought out, they've been paid for to usher in this NWO. All right? But like I said, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Reading on, where India imports more than it exports to China, if denominated in rupees, then the Chinese have surplus Indian currency to be invested or used for purchases. If dominated in Chinese yuan, India has to finance the deficit. Unless there is unrestricted access to investments or funding in the relative currencies, using an acceptable convertible third currency facilitates trade. So bottom line, these nations are getting away from using the dollar. They don't want to deal with the dollar no more, because we're in a time of war and the US is unstable. The dollar is becoming unstable. This is why you're seeing Wall Street sell all these assets. You're seeing these other nations dump the dollar in mass numbers. Why? Because they know that there's a crash coming. All right. And also, they've been ordered by the WEF to de-dollarize. You see, this is why you're seeing this push away from the dollar, man, because the dollar, keep in mind, is currently the world reserve currency. So that dollar is circulating around the planet right now as it is, but very soon it's not going to be. Very soon these nations are going to drop the dollar cold turkey, and all them dollars that were circulating around the earth, they're going to come back home. And what happens once you oversaturate the market with any particular good or service? It becomes worthless, because it's too abundant and there's not as much of a demand for it. See, once these nations send the dollar back to America, the demand is going to be zero. Okay, but the supply of it is going to be excessive. So the dollar is done. That's the bottom line. Like, the dollar is done. Then you had earlier this year, you had Saudi Arabia drop the petrodollar. You see, and really the dollar was supposed to be backed by gold, but instead of gold, it was backed by black gold, which is oil. So now that the dollar ain't even backed by oil no more, it's really just all a facade. It's only a matter of time before, as we're seeing right now, these stock markets, these global markets are crashing because why? The dollar is on the way out. So who knows how long we have left? Weeks, months, until this thing fully hits the wall. But we know that, hey, I mean, we've been telling you, man, that the time is going to come where this dollar was not going to be worth anything anymore. All right. And once that happens, you're going to see these government benefits stop. All right. You're going to see the food dry up. You're going to see civil unrest explode, as you're seeing in the rest of these nations around the earth. People's confidence, because ultimately people's faith is in this world. People's faith is in the strength of Egypt. They're not looking for a higher power to save them out of any kind of danger. So when the dollar goes, guess what? These people gonna go right with it. When America goes, these people gonna go out right with it. They're gonna crash out in mass numbers. Not to mention you have diseases. You know what I'm saying? You have, of course, famine, wars. You see, this is that time of Jacob's trouble. Yeah. So now we can go here and check out Redacted. Okay, because what's going on in the UK, the same thing has been going on in France and Germany and other EU nations, as well as worldwide. The farmers, they're being cut off, they're being ostracized because of these WEF mandates that are coming down, these unrighteous decrees. So the whole world is in an uproar, and this has been going on for a while. This has been going on for years, but it's at a breaking point now because Esau, he's coming down with that great wrath. He's oppressing the people to the point of no end. All right, to where people have had enough, and they coming at this devil's throat. Which let me go to the book of Job 20. And 19 says, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. And that's Esau's whole thing. Like, that's how he came into power. Violently taken away an house, oppressed a man in his heritage. You know what I'm saying? Habakkuk 2 and 5. You see? This is how Esau got his kingdom. In the same way this man came in is the same way that he gonna go out. But verse 20, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. So it's like Yahweh Bashmiel Shai is going to completely strip this man of all his strength. He's going to completely strip this man of his wisdom. This is why you see the leadership of Esau, making these dumbass moves. Things that just make no sense. Their government is divided. The political process is turned into a clown show. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord has confounded Esau on all levels, and ultimately at the end of this, he's gonna be stripped bare. He ain't gonna have nothing left. Verse 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency. So when this man think that he about to implement that NWO, full scale, and he's about to, accomplish his enterprise, that's when the Most High is going to disappoint him. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right. So right now, you seeing what the hell just happened? So hold on. It's weird, man. I just had that open up, But yeah, in the fullness of his sufficiency, man, that's when the Most High is going to disappoint and upset this man. Okay? Now, why did it close that? You know, why did they close that one? That's crazy.
If you're looking to get a degree in IT or cybersecurity, UMGC is waiving their application fee through August 20th.
Well, if you want to know what...
Let's pause there. That was weird. Like, it just closed out that tab specifically. Like, I don't... It's crazy, man. Esau ain't nothing but Satan. But yeah, verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So this is the time that we're in, perilous times. Okay, Esau the devil, he's going down. He don't have no answer. He don't have no remedy for ultimately what's about to befall him, which is complete destruction. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get into this video by Redacted here. Check out Clayton Morse.
What's about to happen to the United States? Look no further than the UK. For those living outside the UK, you might not have heard it's a country that's descending into chaos. Just to bring you up to speed, 4 days ago, a 17-year-old allegedly walked into a children's Taylor Swift event and stabbed a bunch of kids. But this has been happening all over the UK, stabbing events, and of course, massive protests, riots. Now the courts are being kept open for 24 hours to make sure that anybody's participating in these protests will be arrested and round up. And even if you're not at the protests and you're online posting, guess what? You get a knock at the door. And you could have the police coming to your door. You could also be arrested. So what is happening in the UK right now? What is happening with illegal immigration? And how are the people who live there, who've spent their lives there, fighting back against all of this? We wanted to ask Jim Ferguson. He is the founder of Freedom Train International, former parliamentary candidate and journalist. Jim has his hands on the pulse of all of this. Jim, welcome to the show. Great to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Clayton. Nice to be on with you again.
So can you guys just bring up our audience to speed? I mean, I'm sure those living in the UK are very familiar with what's been happening. However, I'm sure the media spin on all of that is hard to get out the truth. You've been a great person to be able to get out the truth on what's happening in the UK right now. Can you walk our audience through sort of the state of affairs right now?
Yeah, absolutely. What's happening in the UK is quite unprecedented. We are witnessing something that we haven't seen probably in decades. And what's really prompted this is there's been a recent change of government. Sir Keir Starmer has taken over as Prime Minister. But even although he's newly in post...
See, there's been a change of government. See what's going on? Now, the WEF, they're installing their young global leaders to implement these policies that are against the citizen, and the citizens ain't going for it. Because one thing about over there in Europe compared to these stupid Americans, the Europeans actually know what's going on. Them European Edomites, they know all about the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the DuPonts and the Gettys and the Club of Rome and all that. The average American, they don't know nothing about that. So when they see that certain policies begin to be put in place in their nation that is against the way of life that they've been living, they're gonna turn up, man. And it's it ain't just happening in the UK. It's happening all over Europe. They're just not putting it out there like that. But these things been going on. Like, we've done lessons on these things to where Germany, they having protests, France, and Spain and Portugal, all these nations are in a uproar. But let's continue.
What happened with the Conservative Party and the Conservative government, as far as mass illegal immigration was concerned, has been causing deep anger within the Brits and the British population. So what's really happened here is this stabbing that happened in Southport of the 3 little girls brutally murdered at the dance studio has caused outrage and anger. And of course, this has been happening for a long period of time. We are seeing unprecedented numbers of illegal migrants, many of them with violent histories, violent backgrounds, flooding into the country in millions. I mean, there is unprecedented numbers. Hotels are being completely filled with these people, and they're all young men aged between 19 and 30. So there is no women, there is no asylum seekers. This is not something that is happening by accident. In fact, There is a reason to this. And it's not just happening in the UK, it's happening in Ireland in the south as well. It's happening at the US southern border. It's happening in France, Germany, Sweden, the Netherlands. Even Australia and New Zealand are getting huge numbers of migrants coming in. Now, there's nothing wrong with normal migration. We all understand that. But illegal migration that's coming in is unprecedented. Not only is it putting pressure on social services, housing, healthcare, education, but it's causing a massive explosion in lawlessness. But what has really triggered the British population to take action now is the fact that there is a two-tier policing clearly evident. And indeed, Sir Keir Starmer is now being nicknamed two-tier Keir, because what happens when the largely Muslim populations demonstrate and protest for Palestinian with Palestinian flags, they get the green light. And even although they're often violent, the police are sort of taking a hands-off approach. Now, what we're seeing is the indigenous British people, they're becoming alarmed at this. They are getting really upset about it because they think it's deeply unfair. And indeed, what we've been witnessing on the streets of London, Southport, Southend, Manchester, Bradford, Liverpool, is on a scale never before seen. And the police are coming in very, very hard on the indigenous Brits, but they are not tackling even large roaming groups of predominantly young Muslim men carrying knives, machetes, pieces of wood, and they've been witnessed attacking British people, white people, and really beating them to the ground. So this is very violent, and there are more protests that have been planned.
And that's really the judgment of Yahweh Bashmel Shah coming down on these Edomites. All right, because these other nations are tired of the so-called white man. You see? So the fact that you got them Edomites over there in UK getting beat up and getting put to death, that's a judgment of the Lord coming down upon you. Because how did you get the land of England? How did you get the land of Scotland and Wales and the whole UK? Well, you Edomites got that by the force of the sword. Going back to Habakkuk 2 and 5, oppressing a man and his heritage, violently taking away an house. See, oppressing a man and his heritage. That's how you Edomites got the whole of the earth. So now your own recompense is coming back on you now. So now that these Edomites are starting to experience discrimination and hands is getting put on them, now they want to rise up. Now they want to protest and do all this stuff. But guess what? This is only the beginning. See, these Edomites ain't seen that yet. And these other nations like North Korea and China and Iran, they got their eyes on you Edomites. See? Even when they looking at America, they ain't looking at America to take out Jake or take out any other nation. No, they looking to get you Edomites, because y'all the ones that's ruling. And y'all have oppressed the whole of the earth, man. So now it's your time to receive of that cup, Esau. This is why this is happening to you. Let's continue.
Planned this coming Wednesday. I'm aware of 39 protests and big demonstrations that are being organised right now. And instead of diffusing the situation, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has doubled down. And he has said that he is going to crack down even harder on people who are just even reporting the news. It's like he's using his position to launch this dystopian, almost dictatorial type measures to silence the British people. But I don't think it's going to work, if I'm being honest.
There's a lot to unpack there. I think some of what you've just said is also happening in the United States, right? Police are being told, illegal immigrants who've stolen cars, who are just let them go. Just let them go. Turn a blind eye to the illegals. Go after actual Americans and label them far right. Round up individuals who might be participating in protests. It seems like that's also happening right now in the UK, turning a blind eye to these wave of illegal immigrants who are walking down the streets with machetes, but going after Brits who've lived there for many, many decades. Talk about overnight, we learned that the courts are now going to be kept open 24 hours to round up and process anybody who's participating in these protests. And from what I can see online, it seems like they're trying to label the British population who are taking place in these protests as far-right extremists. You're a far-right xenophobe. You're an extremist if you see your country being destroyed and you're taking to the streets in protest.
Don't feed your dog a banana before watching this video.
Are bananas bad for your dog?
No.
Absolutely right, Clayton. And of course, they're not far right extremists or racists. They're just ordinary working class people like us who are concerned and alarmed. And they are being treated with the very harshest of treatment. But it's going to backfire. People are so upset, they're so angry that this is going to inflame it. And I'm honestly thinking that what we're witnessing could be the start of not just civil disobedience, but growing civil disorder. The more that the Starmer government tries to crack down and push back and order his security forces in to beat down the British people, the more they're going to react. These people have had enough of it, and they're not going to take it. And of course, as we saw in America, it just took 3% of the population to rise up against the British during the Revolution and throw them out. And indeed, if the 3%, that's the magic number, it just takes 3% of a population to rise up, and no police force, no military will be able to stop them. There's just not enough of them. And I've been witnessing videos of this where large numbers have been coming in, and they're not stopping it.
And then also you have the complicity of the media as well, right? So this is a big component of it. Is a part of this rounding up is the media. So just over the past couple of days, you've seen the media. I'm just going to put this up here. The Hill describes this as misinformation floods social media in the wake of breakneck news cycle. Sky News, Southport attack misinformation fuels far-right discourse on social media. ABC News, online misinformation fuels tensions over the stabbing attack in Britain that killed 3 children. Off Guardian had a great takedown of this. So it seems like the mainstream media is really getting in on this censorship industrial complex here, that there's all this misinformation being spread online. So we really need to clamp down on that. We need to make sure that people aren't speaking freely on social media, and we need to block those types of posts.
Well, that's exactly what's happening. The lying mainstream media are complicit in all of this. And of course, they're serving the globalist agenda as well. And there's a reason why all this is happening in our respective countries, whether it's the United States or the UK or Europe. It's happening on purpose, because what the globalists really want is a one world government that they control. And any sovereign nationalistic nation with people that are proud of their nation, that love their flags and stand up for their identity, their culture and their heritage is a massive obstacle to them.
And there you go. He just said it perfectly. All right. This right here, what's going on, this is the setup for the NWO. And they don't want nobody speaking out against it. They don't want you having an opinion. They don't want you bringing out the truth. This is why since 2020, that whole so-called misinfo campaign, they've been going hardcore with that, because they want to control the narrative. See, they want to decide what the truth is. But for them, it's all unraveling. It's all falling apart, because the Most High, He's bringing the truth to the forefront. But these Edomites understand what's going on. They understand that this is see, somebody said in the comments, Charles created the WEF agenda. WEF and Starmer is a puppet. Yeah, so people know what's going on, man. People know what the hell is going on. This is why you're seeing, as Jim Ferguson said, in your respective countries, America, UK, and what's going on in the UK is coming to America. See? What's going on in Bangladesh is coming to America very soon, sooner than what you think. All right? But this is all a play, man. This is all to set you up. But these people are afraid. All right? Everyone is afraid of what's coming on this earth, because they don't see a remedy for what's about to happen. So this is Luke 21 and 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Right now, everything being shaken up. Yahweh Bashman Shah shaking up the earth, man, to where you can no longer ignore. See that, and and that's the thing about these people. You've had the men of the Lord out here telling you for decades, man, what's coming to this place, and people have ignored. They've stuck their head in the sand. They didn't want to accept reality. But the Lord has made it now to where you can no longer ignore the reality because it's right in your face. See? These things are in your face now. All right? Because these wealth policies, which are all being brought on by the elites and really Yahweh Bashim Shai, but the Lord is using Esau, which is his sword, to afflict the proud, to afflict the wicked, to bring you out of your comfort, to take you away from the things that make you happy in this world. But guess what? Those that have faith, the hopeful elect, you know, we gonna keep our faith, man. Because why? We've been brought up in the truth of Yahweh Bashim Shai, and as the scriptures have commanded us to put off this world, so that's what we've done. So when things start to go left, listen, we actually want these things to happen. Okay, while the average person want these things to go away, they want to have their normal life back. And it's not that them, you know, British Edomites over there hate Britain. You know, they really what they want is for things to go back to how it used to be. They want things to go back to what they deemed as normal. But now the fact that everything is changing and the world is against them, now they in the hot seat and they can't handle it. Okay? Yeah, man, men's hearts are failing them for fear. People are afraid. Like the average Edomite out here, they going crazy trying to prep for what's coming. You know? They panic buying, they, you know, buying up all kind of ammo and guns and all this, thinking that that's gonna save them. But it ain't. You know, that's the thing about it, man. Ain't none of that gonna save you from what Yahweh Bashim Shai is bringing on this earth. See, if you ain't in the good graces of Yahweh Bashim Shai, you gonna get taken. And right now in the UK, you got women that's being raped. You got kids that the same thing is happening. All right, people being put to death left and right. It's anarchy. It's chaos over there, man. And the government is actually pushing back against the people. So this thing ain't gonna die down no time soon. This thing is on fire.
What we're witnessing is a deep destabilization done on purpose by those involved with globalist agendas like the World Economic Forum, like the Trilateral Commission, the Council of 300, the Bilderberg Group. These are not conspiracy theories. These are conspiracy facts. And we're seeing people like George Soros deeply involved with the destabilization in the United States. He is funding district attorneys all across America with the whole intent to do away with proper legal process. We've been witnessing in America large numbers of people, massive numbers of people going into these large department stores, filling up shopping trolleys, coming out, putting it into the back of their car and just driving away with it. Soros's district attorneys are only classing it as a misdemeanor. They get a letter. They don't even get a fine, and certainly no criminal record. So this is fueling lawlessness, and this is spreading all around the world wherever we find globalists infesting our parliaments and our governments. This is on purpose.
George Soros at the heart of all of it, of course. We absolutely know that. Jim, so what do you think is next here? Because you're seeing the mainstream media saying that this is just xenophobia, that this individual, and it was amazing to watch the police kind of come right out and say, no, he's from Cardiff, the young man who killed those three girls at the dance studio. No, he was actually born in Cardiff, but we learned later he's the son of Rwandan immigrants. But nevertheless, the mainstream media and, of course, the police are trying to say that anyone who would speak out against this, you're a xenophobic, you're a racist, you're sort of anti-immigrant. What do you think is going to happen over the next few days in the UK? What do you think is coming?
Well, I think you're going to see a massive pushback. The British people are a very patient people. They're certainly not racist. They're very welcoming to people, but they expect people to behave and to adapt when they come in and to integrate into our culture, into our nationalistic identity. And in large part, that's not happening. But when we see large groups of mainly Muslim men, immigrants, legal immigrants, arming themselves up and going after lone whites and beating them down, that is a clear indication of the polarization that's taking place in the UK, and not just the UK. Ireland is exactly the same. And I would probably argue that what's been going on in Ireland, because I've been there, I visited there, I went on a march with 10,000 Irish patriots.
That scripture came to my mind. Had to get it. Job 20 and 27. You know what? Matter of fact, let me start at 26. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. This is speaking about Esau, Edom. Verse 27, the heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. So the spirit in the earth is against the Edomite. The whole world is against what them small hats is doing in the land to them Palestinians. All right. Now you having Muslim protesters in the UK attack the Edomite. See, they coming up against the Edomite, and that's also going to cause what? That's going to cause Esau to come for you, Jakes. All right, because when Esau sees that he's going down, his time is up. He gonna want to come for you Israelites and take you out, and that's ultimately what's getting ready to happen. You see. So this is the time to be very vigilant. This is the time to watch your surroundings at all times. Because, a certain narrative is being pushed out there that you Jakes are the problem, that you Israelites are the reason why America or the UK or wherever that you at in mass numbers. You're the reason why these Western nations are falling. Okay, so the justification is going to be, well, to save our country, we need to get rid of the undesirables, okay, which are you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. But the migrants over there in the UK, they letting the Edomites have it. All right, putting them to death, beating them up. I think a report came out that some Muslim protesters beat up like 12 cops. You know what I'm saying? So them Edomites over there, man, is afraid. And in the UK, they don't have guns and stuff like that. I mean, you do have a black market, but the citizens are not allowed to have firearms. All right, so people got knives, they got machetes and stuff like that, and they're using them. As it says in 2nd Ezra 15, the city shall be troubled, and people gonna go around with the sword. People got literal swords out there that they're using to inflict harm on them Edomites. Okay, but ultimately, what's gonna come of all this is civil war. In the UK, civil war. In America, civil war. In many of these nations around the earth. And I wanted to get that other video. I don't know what happened. It's like 2 tabs just got cut out. That ain't nothing but Satan. But 2 tabs got cut out. I think I can pull it back up. But when you go here, complete anarchy spreading in the streets of the UK. So, so that video gave you a, pretty much overall synopsis of what's going down. But it says here, police arrested at least 100 people, and riot police wearing helmets and holding shields came out in force as Prime Minister Keir Starmer pledged to take action against, quote, extremists. On Saturday, groups in Leeds waving St. George's Cross flags, England's national flag regularly flown by far-right groups, shouted, "Muslims off our streets," pairing it with a slur suggesting they were criminal child abusers. All right, so the UK is in a complete state of anarchy and chaos. Pretty much police out there ain't even arresting nobody. Like, they just letting the chaos go on because they've been given the order. Okay, as you heard what's his name, this guy, as you heard him say, this is all being deliberately done to crash the West. You know what I'm saying? Let's go into this too.
So I'm sure you guys have heard, but this is what's really going on in the UK, and this is why everyone around the globe should be concerned. So unfortunately, 3 young children were taken from us this past Monday, ages from 6 to 9. And their names were BB King, Elsie Stancombe, and Elise Egwa. The 3 innocent victims were unlived while attending a Taylor Swift dance yoga party this past Monday. And we should also acknowledge that there were 10 other victims as well, but they fortunately survived. Now, the suspect in these heinous crimes is Axel Rudakabana. He's at the age of 17 years old. Now, this is not a recent photo of him. This is a photo of him when he was much younger. Now, what has made this situation much, much, much worse is the fact that social media has gotten a hold of it, and now social media is doing what social media normally does. It spreads misinformation. Because what has happened is this has become a very racist and very xenophobic issue to the point where it's looking like there is going to be a somewhat semi-race war in the UK. Misinformation spread that the fact that the assailant was possibly an immigrant or migrant and he was Muslim. And because social media and the people who uses it doesn't really do too much research, a whole riot has started. Far-right groups have taken a hold of this issue where they are attacking random black and brown people for something they have nothing to do with. They're throwing things at the police. They're attacking police. If I'm not mistaken, I've even seen someone blow up a whole police station. Yeah, this is how bad it's getting. This young man was not a migrant. He was not Muslim. He was born in Britain. He is British. Sadly, there is a hyphe issue in the UK, and mental issues is very prominent. But we don't know what was his reasoning for even doing this. There is no reason. And what should be a concern for everybody is that, especially here in the US, is that the way social media has been rampant this week. I mean, there's so many stories of people or stories of just people making up stuff and then creating this rage in people that is people just going nuts. And that is what's concerning about this, is that if this election that's coming up in November, if things doesn't go the way that some people feel that it should go, what is going to be the reaction? We are already on the brink of what looks like a civil war in this country. And I hate to say that. These 3 young ladies losing their lives should be the main focus from everyone, and finding solutions on how we can pick up on the signs of mental issues amongst people, because no sane person will go to a dance yoga party to go on live people. That's not a rational person. That's a very evil person that the signs were there and people just ignored it. We are.
And that guy that went there and committed that act, that's a spirit of vengeance. And these spirits of vengeance is on the loose out here. All right? You've been seeing murders and just straight up deletions, happening at an all-time high. So we're in that season to where, people are being unalive at a rapid rate. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Esau is putting these people up to this to sow this confusion, but either way, it's all still from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, life as you once knew it is no longer what you knew. This is the new norm, to where people are going to be literally living in fear. See, the days of comfort, the days of waking up and you're not having to worry about nothing. You can just walk outside and just have a great day, chill at the park. Them days coming to an end. See, we're coming into a time. Well, we're in a time, should I say, where things are critical. You see what I'm saying? We're in a time where, goddamn sodomite, man. God just got his nails painted. That's another thing, man. This place got to go. You got all these jakes out here painting their goddamn nails like a fucking female, man. And they putting it all over the TV. This shit is crazy, but it's like it anyway. Yeah, man, we're in a time where that comfort is about to be null and void. The only comfort that you will have is through the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because this world is not going to give you anything to be comfortable in or to believe in. This world is faithless, man, and it's really going to show once the Lord brings that hour of temptation, which we're in the midst of. See, so listen, these things are only the beginning, man. Yahweh Shai called this the beginning of sorrows. So if this is the beginning, how is it going to be when we're in the full, strength of this, man? You see? Let's continue.
Are dictated by people on social media that have their own agendas. I've seen time and time again of these warnings of we need to lower the temperature. But when you have a platform where people are making money and they're monetizing on people rage and they're using it as for their engagement, they would do anything. We live in an unstable society where money is the root, the lead cause for everyone to go ahead and do whatever they feel they need to do. And no one is thinking straight. Everyone is just going along, and they're not realizing the possible repercussions of their actions and their choices and the things they put out on these social media platforms. But this right here This right here should be a concern for everyone because it is getting worse and I don't see an end in sight. And everyone in this country, let this be a mirror of what can potentially happen. And if this happens in America, it's going to be 10 times worse.
And he definitely right about that. When, and this is when this happens in America, because it is going to happen. It's biblical prophecy. But when this happens in America, it's going to be way worse than what you seeing in UK and Bangladesh. Speaking of Bangladesh, let me see if I can find that video back, man, because that's crazy. That the browser just, clip. Let's see here. Yeah, it was one where it was like, let's see.
Histórica noticia de última hora, el pueblo. Everybody release, please. আমার মনে হয় চলেই যাবে।
Salah, I just want to find this one video, man.
How are more people not talking about what is happening in Bangladesh right now? Because it is actually wild. So this week, massive protests erupted across the country. So in response, not only has the entire population been placed under a curfew enforced by the military, but the government also ordered the closure of all universities and have completely shut down the internet and all mobile services to try and stop the unrest. I mean, can you just imagine if your government shut down your internet? That's a country of over 170 million people now cut off from the world. That's wild. And it's literally turning into something you'd see in a movie because now they've stormed a prison and broken hundreds of people out. The government is being hacked by a group called The Resistance. And on the official website of the Prime Minister, it currently reads, "Stop killing students. It's not a protest anymore. It's a war now." What they're referencing is the 105 people so far killed in these protests according to an AFP count. So you're probably wondering, what has caused all of this? Well, Bangladesh have a job system in which more than half of government jobs are reserved for specific groups. And out of the total, only 44% of them you can actually get hired for based on merit. And when you have a country where over 40% of the youth are neither working or in university, jobs really matter. Some students want this job system abolished, while others want it to remain, which is why things have turned so violent and words like civil war are floating around now. But the only reason I even found out that this was going on was because hundreds of you guys messaged me. And it's just crazy that things like this can happen in the world and you can just go unaware. How are more people not?
Crazy, perilous times. 2nd Ezra 16-15, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. In famine, civil war, a right mass death, these are plagues. 17, woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? That's how bad it was. See, Ezra, he was seeing these things happen, the same things that you seeing in this video happen, right? The same things that you seen happen in this video. This is what the prophet Ezra was seeing, man. All right, he was seeing helicopters and all this. He seen all this, man. But see, this is the beginning. He saw much worse. He saw bodies laid out, okay, by the hundreds of thousands. See, he saw mass chaos, mass confusion. This is what the prophet Ezra was seeing, and he said, woe is me, destruction unto me. Who's going to save me in those days? So if Ezra, a man of the Lord, was saying this, what's going to be the mindset of the people of this world which have no faith and have not built themselves up in the spirit to withstand what's coming? The scriptures tell you, man, look, it's going to be a time like never seen before. Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Yeah, what are you going to do when these evils shall come? Are you going to abide in the strong tower, which is the name of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai? Or are you going to seek carnality? Are you going to seek to take Esau's solution, to be comfortable, to feel safe that our temptation is upon us? All right? And we're down to the wire. We're down to where your faith is going to be tested. See, some of us are going to be thrown in prison. Some going to be beheaded. You know, definitely going to be demonized. Definitely going to be made a target. But this is what comes with this truth, man. You know, this is why you got to count the cost to serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. These things come with it. Right, verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So basically these things are being sent to punish the wicked, to punish the proud of this world who have lived in blissful ignorance for the entirety of their lives. Okay, ignored the men of the Lord, scoffed against the Lord's prophets. But guess what? Now the Lord is going to deal with you. Okay, all them people that came up against the word, came up against the truth, the Lord going to deal with you now. Okay, through these things that are coming. So I did go over the time I wanted to, but you know, the water Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you know, it's all through the Spirit. You know, sometimes we make plans for a lesson, and you know, the Spirit just take us somewhere else, man. You know, but it's beautiful either way. But I pray that this lesson was edifying and informative through the Rakah Kadash. Call halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Rakah Kadash. And hey, Israel, time to get right. Okay, time to stop playing games. Time to get your head in the game, man. You know, because time is running out. Shalom.